The storm of fire tore through the dark sky. Eli's ship spun out of control, alarms screaming, flames covering the window. His hands shook as he pulled the lever again and again. Nothing worked. The stars vanished in a flash of purple light, and then came the crash. Sand and smoke swallowed everything. When Eli woke, his head was pounding. His ship lay broken in the middle of a glowing desert. The sand shimmered silver under two moons. He tried to stand, but his leg was hurt. He could hear strange voices, soft, musical, not human. Shapes moved in the distance. Tall, shining figures with long silver hair and blue eyes that glowed faintly. Their skin looked like polished glass. Eli's heart froze. He remembered the stories. The Neravians, alien beings from the far edges of the galaxy, beautiful but dangerous. One of them stepped forward. His voice was calm but cold. "You are the human from the crashed ship?" Eli nodded weakly. "Yes. Please, I need help." The alien looked at him for a long moment, then smiled, but it was not a warm smile. "You are lucky, human. You have fallen on the land of Lord Kale, ruler of the Neravians." Two guards lifted Eli and carried him through the glowing dunes. The sand gave off a faint hum as they walked. In the distance, he saw a giant palace made of crystal towers. It sparkled under the twin moons like a dream, but Eli felt no comfort. Something about this place felt too perfect, too quiet. Inside the palace, the air smelled of flowers and metal. The walls were alive with light, and it pulsed like a heartbeat. The alien stood in silence as Lord Kale entered the hall. He was tall, his silver hair braided with gems. His eyes, pale blue, looked straight into Eli's soul. "Welcome, human," Kale said in a voice that echoed softly. "You have come at the right time." Eli frowned. "Right time? I didn't come by choice." "My ship," Kale raised a hand. "Silence. You will be treated as a guest here. But first you must do something for us." Eli's heart pounded. "What do you mean?" Kyle smiled, a sharp, cold smile. "You will marry my sister." Eli thought he misheard. "What?" Kale's voice stayed calm. "My sister Lyria. She is different. She cannot see. She is blind. She needs a companion, someone who will not pity her, someone with a soul of courage." Eli stared at him in disbelief. "You're joking. I don't even know her. I just crashed here." Kyle's eyes darkened. "No one refuses the word of the Neravian ruler. If you do, you will not live to leave this palace." The room fell silent. The guards' hands rested on their glowing weapons. Eli realized he had no choice. His throat went dry. "Why me?" he whispered. Kale's expression didn't change. "Because the stars chose you, and because she cannot see how ugly you are." Eli felt anger rise in his chest, but before he could speak, Kyle turned away. "Tomorrow you will meet her. Prepare yourself, human. Your fate begins at dawn." Two guards led Eli to a small room made of clear glass. He could see the alien city outside. Towers floating in the air, bridges made of light, and creatures flying like birds made of metal. It was beautiful and terrifying. He sat on the bed, breathing hard. He didn't understand any of this. Why would an alien ruler force him to marry his blind sister? What game was this? He tried to sleep, but the walls whispered softly, strange sounds that almost formed words. He turned away, pressing his hands to his ears. When he finally closed his eyes, he saw flashes of his crash. And then a voice, gentle and sad, whispered in his dream, "I can't see you, but I can feel your pain." Eli woke with a gasp. The room was filled with soft light. A new day had begun. The door slid open without a sound. Two Neravian women entered, carrying white clothes made of shining fabric. One of them said softly, "These are for your wedding." Eli's chest tightened. "Wedding? Already?" She nodded. "Lord Kale does not wait. The blind princess awaits you." Eli looked into the mirror. His face was bruised, his hair messy, his eyes tired. "What are they planning?" he whispered to himself. Outside, bells of light began to ring, deep, echoing tones that filled the palace. Somewhere beyond the glowing corridors, a blind alien girl waited for the human stranger she was ordered to marry, and Eli knew, whatever this was, it was no ordinary marriage. Something dark hid behind those beautiful walls, and he was walking straight into it. The golden sun of Neravia rose over the crystal towers, painting the sky in soft pink light. Eli stood by the window, staring at the strange alien city. The air shimmered like glass and even the birds sang in gentle tones. Everything was beautiful, yet everything felt unreal, like a dream that could turn into a nightmare at any moment. He hadn't slept all night. The thought of marrying a blind alien girl he had never met filled his chest with dread and confusion. He wanted to escape, but outside the palace were guards with glowing eyes and blades of light. He was trapped. The door slid open. 2 alien women entered again, their movements slow and graceful. One said softly, "It is time, human. The princess waits." Eli followed them through a long hall. The walls sparkled with moving colors. The air itself seemed alive. As they walked, he heard faint whispered way like the palace was breathing. His heart beat faster. They stopped before tall crystal doors. The guards pushed them open and warm light poured out. Inside, the room was filled with gentle music. Flowers floated in the air, glowing softly. In the center of the room sat a young woman dressed in white silk. Her silver hair fell down her back, and her pale eyes were open but unfocused. She turned her head slowly, sensing Eli's presence. "Come closer," she said in a soft, musical voice. Eli stepped forward, unsure what to say. "You're Lyria?" She smiled, a sad but peaceful smile. "Yes, and you must be the human my brother spoke of." Eli nodded. "I didn't choose this. He forced me." Lyria tilted her head slightly. "I know. My brother forces many things. But you don't need to be afraid. I won't hurt you." Her voice was calm, kind, almost too pure for this strange place. Eli felt his anger fade a little. "You really can't see?" he asked. She smiled again. "No, I was born blind, but I can hear the heartbeats of others. I can feel when someone lies, or when they are sad." Eli froze. "Then what do you feel from me?" She took a slow breath. Pain, fear, and a little bit of light. Her words hit him deeply. No one had ever spoken to him like that. Not even humans. He sat down across from her. The floor glowed faintly under his boots. "Why did your brother choose me?" Lyria touched her chest gently. "He believes my blindness is a curse. He thinks a human husband might free me from it. He also believes there is something special about your kind." Eli frowned. "Special? Humans?" "He called me ugly." Lyria giggled softly. "My brother only sees the surface. I see something else." She reached out a hand, her fingers searching in the air. Eli hesitated, then let her touch his face. Her fingertips moved slowly, across his nose, his cheeks, his jaw. She smiled. "You feel warm, alive, not ugly." For a moment, Eli forgot where he was. Her touch felt real, gentle, honest. Then she whispered, "You shouldn't have come here. This place is full of secrets." Before he could ask more, the doors opened again. Lord Kale entered, tall and silent, his eyes sharp like cold glass. "Good," Kale said. "You have met. Tomorrow the bond will be complete." Eli stood quickly. "Bond? What do you mean?" Kale's voice was like stone. "Our custom. At sunrise, your life and hers will be joined by the energy of Neravia. You will not be able to leave." Eli's anger broke. "You can't trap me here." "I didn't agree to this." Kale stepped closer. "You are already part of it, human. The moment she touched your face, the energy began. If you leave now, both of you will die." Lyria gasped. "Brother, no." "He didn't know." Kale ignored her. "You will stay and you will do your duty. The curse of our blood may finally end through this union." He turned and left without another word. The door shut behind him. Eli's hands trembled. He looked at Lyria, who sat silently, her face pale. "What curse?" he asked. She whispered. "Every Neravian royal who marries their lover dies within 7 days. My brother thinks if it's a human, it might be different." Eli's heart stopped for a moment. "You mean I might die?" Lyria nodded sadly. "I don't want that. I never wanted any of this." Silence filled the room. The glowing flowers dimmed as if they too felt the sadness. Eli looked at her blind, gentle face, and something inside him changed. He couldn't hate her. She was trapped just like him. He took a deep breath. "Then we'll find a way to stop it, together." For the first time, Lyria smiled with hope. "Together," she whispered. But outside, in the dark hall, Kyle watched through the crystal walls, his eyes glowing faintly. He smiled coldly. Everything was going according to plan. Night fell quietly over the Neravian city. The towers glowed like stars and the air hummed with soft energy. Inside his small crystal room, Eli couldn't sleep. His mind spun in circles, about the blind princess, the forced marriage, and the deadly curse. He sat on the glowing floor, staring at his hands. 7 days, he whispered to himself. 7 days and I could die. He thought of Lyria, her calm voice and gentle smile. She wasn't the monster he expected. She was innocent, maybe too innocent. And her brother, Lord Kale, was hiding something. Eli could feel it. The walls shimmered faintly. The palace seemed alive, whispering in soft tones that almost sounded like words. Eli leaned closer. The lights shifted, showing strange symbols, old human-looking letters. He frowned. Wait, this is Earth writing. His curiosity grew. Quietly, he slipped out of his room. The halls were empty, glowing with blue light. Guards stood far away, their armor shining like glass. Eli moved carefully, his bare feet silent on the smooth floor. He followed the whispering sound, a low hum coming from deep beneath the palace. A hidden passage opened when he touched the wall. The path led downward into darkness. As he walked, strange memories flickered across the walls, moving pictures made of light. They showed ships, humans, and Neravians together. Then war, fire, destruction. He stopped, staring at one image, a human scientist shaking hands with a Neravian elder. The caption below read, Project Dawn Human-Neravian Genetic Alliance. Eli's stomach tightened. This can't be real, he whispered. He remembered old space stories about a secret project long ago, when humans tried to mix their DNA with alien species to create peace through shared blood. It failed. The experiment caused sickness and death on both sides. Earth covered it up and the Neravians vanished from contact. Now Eli realized this planet wasn't a strange accident. His crash might not have been random. He stepped deeper into the glowing chamber. In the center stood a giant glass tube filled with blue liquid. Inside floated a body, part human, part Neravian. Its eyes were closed, its skin pale silver. Eli's heart pounded. What are they doing here? A voice echoed behind him. You weren't supposed to see this. He spun around. It was Kale. His face was calm, but his eyes burned cold. Eli stepped back. What is this place? Kale walked slowly toward him. Our secret. Our curse. Long ago, humans came here with promises of peace. But they wanted power, a new life form that could survive anywhere. They mixed our blood. They created monsters. He pointed to the body in the glass. This was one of them, a child of two worlds. It destroyed half our people before we sealed it away. Eli shook his head. So that's why you hate humans. Kale's lips curved slightly. Hate is simple. I want balance. My sister, she is different. She carries the last piece of that old experiment. Her blindness hides what she truly is. Eli stared at him, confused. What do you mean? Kale leaned closer. She is not only Neravian. She has human blood. The same blood that caused the curse. Every time she loves, her power awakens. And her lover dies. That's the curse. Eli felt his throat go dry. You made me marry her. To test if I would survive. Kale's eyes glimmered. You are brave, human. And your crash was not an accident. We pulled your ship from the stars. You were chosen. Anger burned through Eli. You used me. You're using her too. She doesn't even know what you've done. Kyle's calm smile faded. Do not speak of this to her. She must believe love can save her. Only then can we see if the curse can be broken. Eli clenched his fists. You're playing with lives. Kale stepped closer, voice cold. If this works, both our species will live. If it fails, only one will remain. Eli's chest filled with fury. He turned and ran up the tunnel. Kale didn't stop him. His calm eyes followed with quiet satisfaction, as if everything was happening exactly as planned. Eli reached the upper halls, breathless and shaking. He found Lyria waiting for him near the garden balcony. She smiled when she heard his footsteps. You were gone, she said softly. I was afraid. Eli stopped, staring at her glowing face. How could he tell her? How could he say that her brother was using her like a test subject? He forced a smile. I just needed air. She took his hand gently. Your heartbeat is fast. You're lying. Eli looked into her pale eyes. Maybe, but I promise you, I'll protect you no matter what. She smiled, unaware of the truth. Behind her, the stars shimmered over the alien city. Somewhere in the darkness, the ancient experiment waited to awaken again. And Eli knew. The real danger wasn't the curse. It was the secret that created it. The next day began with a strange silence in the palace. The usual humming walls were quiet. Even the air felt heavier, like the calm before a storm. Eli walked through the shining corridors, thinking about what he had discovered underground, the experiment, the curse and the truth about Lyria's blood. He wanted to tell her, but every time he looked at her kind face, he couldn't. Her smile carried peace, and he didn't want to break it. Lyria waited in the crystal garden, sitting near a pond that glowed with silver fish. The flowers sang softly in the wind. She turned her head as soon as she heard his footsteps. "You walk like someone who carries a heavy heart," she said gently. Eli smiled weakly. "Maybe I do." She patted the seat beside her. "Then sit, human heart. Let me hear it beat." He sat beside her. She placed her hand on his chest, listening quietly. The warmth of her touch made him forget for a moment where he was. "I can hear the truth," she whispered. "You're afraid," he sighed. "Lyria, your brother says your love is dangerous." She smiled faintly. "I know, but I don't believe it." Eli frowned. "You don't?" Lyria shook her head. "A curse only has power if you believe in it. My brother fears love because he cannot feel it. I won't live that way." Her words struck something deep inside him. Her blindness had not made her weak. It had made her see the world in ways he couldn't. They spent the day together in the garden. Lyria asked about Earth, its oceans, its winds, its people. Eli told her stories about blue skies, rain, and laughter. She listened like a child hearing a fairy tale. "I wish I could see your world," she said softly. "Maybe one day," he answered. She turned her face toward him. "Then tell me, what do I look like through your eyes?" Eli hesitated, his chest tightening. "You look like peace, like something this universe doesn't deserve." Lyria smiled, but her eyes glistened. "You speak like someone who has lost too much." He looked down. "Maybe I have." A breeze passed through, and for a moment everything was quiet. Too quiet. Then the pond began to ripple. The air trembled with a strange hum. Lyria gasped. "Do you feel that?" Eli stood alarmed. "What's happening?" The flowers around them began to glow brighter, their colors twisting. The crystals in the palace walls flickered violently. Eli's skin burned faintly. The mark that appeared after the wedding ceremony pulsed on his wrist, glowing red. Lyria clutched her chest. "The energy, it's waking." Kale appeared suddenly, his silver cloak sweeping behind him. His eyes burned with calm control. "Step away from her, human." Eli faced him. "What's happening to her?" Kale's voice was sharp. "You've made her feel too much. The bond between you is feeding the curse," Lyria cried out, pain in her voice. "Brother, stop!" "It's not a curse, and it's love." Kale's expression hardened. "Love is a poison in our blood. You both will die if you continue." He raised his hand. A pulse of blue light surrounded Lyria, trapping her in a shimmering sphere. She reached out helplessly. "Eli!" Eli ran forward, hitting the energy barrier, but it threw him back. "Let her go." Kale's eyes flashed. "You don't understand. If her emotions rise too high, her power will destroy this entire palace. I'm saving her and you." Eli clenched his fists. "You're not saving anyone. You're just afraid." Kale stared at him for a long moment, then lowered his hand. The blue light faded slightly. "You will stay away from her until I decide otherwise." He turned and walked away, leaving guards behind to watch Eli. When the hall emptied, Eli pressed his hand to the fading barrier. Lyria's voice trembled through it. "He's wrong. I can control it. I can feel you even through the wall." "Don't give up," Eli whispered. "I won't. Whatever happens, I'll find a way." That night he lay awake, staring at the glowing ceiling. His mark pulsed with light, connected to her heartbeat. Every pulse reminded him that their bond was growing stronger and more dangerous. In another part of the palace, Kale stood in the chamber of old technology, watching the monitors that displayed energy waves rising from the couple's connection. The curse was changing, evolving. One of his advisors asked, "Should we end it, my lord?" Kale shook his head slowly. "No, let it continue. If the human's heart survives her awakening, we may have found the key." Outside, the twin moons rose high over the Naravian desert. Eli stood by the window looking out into the glowing night. He could almost hear Lyria's voice in the wind, soft, trembling, but full of hope. He didn't know if he could survive this bond. But he knew one thing. He wouldn't run. Because for the first time since he crashed on this strange world, he had something worth dying for. The night on Naravia was quiet, too quiet. A strange, heavy stillness hung over the Crystal Palace. The moons hid behind thick violet clouds and the glowing towers dimmed as if the planet itself was holding its breath. Eli stood alone in his chamber, staring at the faint red mark glowing on his wrist, the symbol of his bond with Lyria. It pulsed slowly, matching her heartbeat. Every few seconds he could feel her pain, sharp, soft and distant like thunder on the horizon. He couldn't bear it anymore. Ignoring the guards, he slipped into the corridor. His footsteps were silent, his heart pounding. The palace lights flickered as if reacting to his emotions. He made his way toward the chamber where Kyle had locked Lyria. When he reached it, the guard stopped him. "You cannot enter," one said coldly. Eli clenched his fists. "Move or I'll make you," the guard laughed. "A human can't fight an Aravian." But before Eli could reply, the red mark on his wrist flared bright, and the air around him shook. A burst of invisible force threw both guards back. Eli stared at his hand, shocked. What was that? The door to Lyria's room opened on its own, as if calling him inside. Inside, she was floating above the floor, her white dress glowing like firelight. Her silver hair spread around her like a halo. The crystals in the walls cracked as waves of energy moved through the air. "Lyria!" Eli shouted, running forward. She turned toward his voice, her blind eyes glowing faint gold. "Eli, I can hear you everywhere. Your voice is inside me." Her words sent chills down his spine. "You have to stop this. You're hurting yourself." She shook her head, tears floating in the air. "I'm not in pain. I can see. Not with my eyes, but with the energy." "I can see you," Eli froze. "See me?" She smiled faintly. "You're bright, Eli, so bright it hurts." The air trembled again. Energy swirled around them, making the room hum like a giant heart. Eli reached for her, but a flash of light threw him backward. He hit the floor hard, groaning. "Lyria, please!" Her voice grew weaker. "I can't stop it. The power is too strong. My brother was right. The curse is awake." Eli pushed himself up and stumbled toward her. "Listen to me, you're not cursed. You're alive. You're feeling love, not power. Don't let him control you." Lyria's face twisted with pain. "Love. It burns inside me. If I don't control it, it will destroy everything." Suddenly, the door burst open. Lord Kale stormed in, his cloak trailing behind him, guards at his side. "Step away, human," he shouted. Eli turned, eyes blazing. "She's dying because of you." Kale raised his hand, summoning blue light that surrounded Eli like chains. "You don't understand. Her power is the curse itself. If her emotions overflow, she will destroy the planet," Lyria screamed. "Stop hurting him!" The energy around her exploded like lightning, shattering the crystal walls. Kale stumbled back, shielding his face. Eli's chains vanished as he rushed toward her. He caught her in his arms. She was shaking, her body glowing brighter with every breath. The floor beneath them began to crack. Kale shouted, "If you love her, let her go. It's the only way to save her." Eli's eyes filled with tears. "No, I won't lose her." Lyria pressed her hand to his cheek. Her fingers were hot like fire. "Eli, it's too late. My heart is burning. I can feel your life inside me. The curse will take you." Eli smiled sadly, his voice breaking. "Then let it. I'd rather die with you than live without you." The palace roared as waves of red and blue light filled the air. The energy burst through the ceiling, shooting into the sky like a pillar of fire. The city trembled. Outside, the Naravians looked up in fear as the twin moons turned crimson. Inside the chamber, Kale fell to his knees. "No, the awakening has begun." Eli held Lyria tightly. "Listen to me, Lyria. Love isn't a curse. It's a choice. Don't fight it, control it." Her glowing eyes looked into his. "How?" "Trust me." He kissed her, a single, desperate kiss that broke through the storm. For a moment, time stopped. The energy around them paused, shivering like a heartbeat caught between life and death. Then silence. The light vanished. The air calmed. Lyria collapsed in his arms, her eyes closed. The red mark on Eli's wrist faded to silver. Kyle rose slowly, staring at them. "It didn't kill him," he whispered. "The human survived." Eli looked up, holding her close. "She's alive. But she's weak. Kyle nodded slowly, almost in awe. Then the curse is changing. Eli looked at Lyria's peaceful face, brushing her silver hair from her forehead. It's not a curse, he said softly. It's love trying to wake her soul. Outside, the sky cleared. The moons shone bright again and the palace began to heal itself. But far away, deep in the old chamber below, something stirred in the shadows. The ancient experiment Kale thought was dead. Its eyes opened, glowing red. The awakening had only just begun. The palace was silent again, but it was not peace. It was the silence that comes after a storm, when everything waits to see what will break next. Eli sat beside Lyria, who lay weak and pale on a glowing bed. Her body shimmered faintly like light trapped under her skin. She was breathing, but each breath seemed to echo through the whole palace. The mark on Eli's wrist still glowed softly, a reminder that their lives were bound. He hadn't slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the explosion of red and blue light. The moment Lyria almost lost control. He had held her, whispered her name, and somehow survived the energy that should have killed him. Now, he wondered if that survival came with a price. Kale entered quietly, his usual coldness replaced by something like fear. He looked at his sister, then at Eli. She's changing, he said. Her power isn't stable anymore. Eli stood, his voice firm. Then help her. You have the technology, the knowledge, do something. Kyle's jaw tightened. It's not that simple. The curse is no longer pure. Your human energy mixed with hers. It's creating something new, something even I can't predict. Eli clenched his fists. I don't care what it takes. I won't let her die. Kale's eyes were dark. And if saving her means losing you? Eli hesitated. Then so be it. Lyria stirred, her eyes fluttering open. Eli. Her voice was soft, fragile. He rushed to her side, holding her hand. I'm here, she smiled faintly. You shouldn't be. The energy inside me, it's burning your life away. Eli shook his head. Then let it. I'd rather burn with you than live empty. Tears slid down her cheeks. You're foolish, he smiled softly. So are you. Suddenly the ground shook. Cracks of light split through the floor and the walls trembled. Kale looked around in alarm. No. Not now. What's happening? Eli shouted. Kale's voice shook. The ancient experiment, or the one buried under the palace, it's waking up. The energy from your bond must have reached it. The light under the floor turned blood red. A low hum grew into a roar. Kale grabbed his staff. If that thing awakens fully, it will destroy the planet. We have to stop it. Eli looked at Lyria, who was trembling, her eyes glowing again. No, she whispered. It's not the experiment. It's my power calling to it. It wants me. Kale turned sharply. Then we must separate you from it, before it consumes you both. Eli helped her stand. Tell me what to do. Kale hesitated. There is one way. A sacrifice ritual. One of you must release all your life energy to seal the link. Eli didn't blink. Then I'll do it. Lyria's eyes widened. No, you can't. He cupped her face gently. I can. You've suffered your whole life because of this curse. It ends today. Kale raised his hand. The ritual must be done at the source chamber, the heart of the planet. Once it begins, there's no return. Eli nodded. Then take us there. The source chamber was deep beneath the palace, a glowing cave filled with floating crystals and rivers of light. The air hummed with energy so strong it made their hearts ache. In the center stood a pillar of pure light, pulsing like a giant heartbeat. Kale placed his hands on the pillar. When you enter, your energy will merge with hers. You will draw the curse into yourself and destroy it from within, but your body will not survive. Eli looked at Lyria one last time. I told you, I'd rather die for you than live without you. Lyria grabbed his arm, tears falling fast. Please don't, I can't lose you. I'd rather carry the curse forever. He smiled sadly. Then you'd carry my pain too. This way, both of us can finally be free. Before she could stop him, he stepped into the pillar. Light exploded around him, wrapping his body in pure fire. The mark on his wrist burned bright, connecting him to her. Lyria screamed, running forward, but Kale held her back. If you touch him now, both of you will die. Eli's voice echoed through the light. Lyria, listen to me. She looked up, eyes full of tears. I'm listening. Don't be afraid anymore. Live for both of us. The chamber shook as the light grew blinding. Kale turned away, shielding his eyes. When it finally faded, Eli was gone. Only silence remained. Lyria fell to her knees, sobbing. Her blind eyes glowed faint gold, but no tears came, only light. She pressed her hand to her chest.
"He's still here," she whispered.
His heartbeat. "It's inside me." Kale stood beside her, voice low. "The curse is gone. He saved us all." Lyria rose slowly, her face calm, glowing softly in the golden light. "No, brother," she said. "He didn't just save us. He became us." And as she walked out of the chamber, the air shimmered. For inside her, Eli's soul still lived, protecting her with every breath she took. The sun rose over Neravia for the first time in many years. Not the cold white sun the Neravians knew. This light was warm, golden, and alive. It touched the crystal towers, turning them into glowing rivers of gold. The air smelled like rain, and the wind carried whispers of peace. The curse was gone. The planet had changed, and so had Lyria. She stood alone at the balcony of the Crystal Palace, her silver hair flowing in the morning wind. Her once blind eyes were open, glowing softly with gold light. She could see now colors, shapes, life. But every time she blinked, she saw his face. Eli's. It had been 7 days since the sacrifice. The energy of the source chamber had vanished, taking Eli with it. Yet every corner of the palace hummed with his presence. The warmth of his laughter, the strength of his heartbeat, the courage that had broken the curse. Lyria touched her chest gently. "You're still here," she whispered. "I feel you." Behind her, Lord Kale entered quietly. His eyes no longer held coldness. The weight of centuries had fallen from his shoulders. "Sister," he said softly, "the people have begun to rebuild. The curse that haunted our blood for generations is gone, thanks to him." Lyria smiled faintly. "He wasn't just a human, Kale. He was light, the kind our people forgot how to see." Kale looked down. "I never understood love until I saw what it did to you both. He gave everything, and not for power, but for your heart." Lyria turned toward him, her glowing eyes full of emotion. "Then we must honor him. Every breath of this world must remember his name." Kyle nodded. "We will. A new era begins, one shaped by his sacrifice." That night, the Neravians gathered under the twin moons. In the middle of the city, a great light rose in a memorial tower built of crystal and silver. Its top reached the clouds, and in its core burned a single spark of white fire. Eli's energy, the last trace of his soul. Lyria stood before it, surrounded by thousands. "He came from a distant world," she said, her voice echoing through the crowd.
"He had no army, no power, no crown.
Only a heart strong enough to fight destiny." She raised her hands toward the sky. "Let this flame burn forever, a symbol of love stronger than fear." The crowd bowed their heads. The flame pulsed brighter, filling the night with warmth. But as Lyria stared into it, she felt something. A heartbeat, her eyes widened. "Eli?" she whispered. The flame flickered. The wind stirred. A soft voice echoed in her mind, gentle, familiar. "I told you I'd never leave." Tears filled her golden eyes. "You're still here. Inside the light." The voice smiled in her heart. "Part of me is. The rest is in you." Lyria closed her eyes. She could feel him, not as a ghost, not as memory, but as living energy. The heartbeat she felt inside her chest was his. Their souls had merged, human and Neravian, light and life. Two worlds finally one. Kyle, standing nearby, noticed her glowing brighter. "Sister?" She turned to him with a smile that made the stars pale. "I see him, brother. Not with my eyes and with my heart." Kyle bowed his head. "Then he truly lives." Days turned to weeks. Neravia bloomed again. The barren deserts turned green. Rivers flowed where there had once been dry sand. The people spoke of the human who saved the stars. Children grew up hearing stories of his courage and kindness. Lyria became the new queen, guiding her people with wisdom and warmth. But she never wore a crown. Instead, she carried a small silver pendant, the piece of metal from Eli's crashed ship, around her neck. It glowed faintly whenever she smiled. Every dawn she stood at the balcony facing the twin suns. "Good morning, Eli," she would whisper, and sometimes the wind would whisper back, "Good morning, my light." One evening, years later, as the sun set and the sky turned purple, Lyria felt a strange peace in her heart. She closed her eyes, breathing slowly. The mark on her wrist, once a symbol of the curse, shimmered silver again. She smiled softly. "It's time," she said to the sky. "Time to see you again." The air around her glowed, gentle and warm. The light formed a figure, human familiar. Eli stood there, smiling the same smile she remembered. Lyria reached out, tears in her eyes. "You came back," Eli shook his head gently. "I never left." Their hands touched and the world around them filled with golden light. The palace, the city, the stars, all shimmered with love that would never die. When the light faded, the people looked up and saw two bright stars rising together in the sky. One silver, one gold. They called them the lovers of Neravia, symbols of unity between two worlds that once feared each other, now bound forever by love. And in the hearts of every child born under those twin stars, there was a whisper. Love is never a curse. It's the light that saves us all.